Hey there, PTG fans! Here we go once again for the Renegade Master. People, but I don't know the words.
I don't either.
I'm Lucky Sixes. This is Hyper G.
Hey.
This is Gobbo.
Hey.
And we are Proxy Table Gaming here
Big
once
high
again.
Five. Big high five.
It doesn't. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yes, we're here for another army chat in the series. Working our way through now. Doing all right.
Yeah. Good old alphabetical.
Yeah, right. And quite apt actually, because we've done a lot on this particular army recently.
Yeah.
We are on the Infernal Dwarves of the 9th Age. So we are going to be looking at the Fire Stunties and talking a little bit about our concepts of the army, some of the things we like, although we have done videos on the actual army book, the new army book release itself, so we will probably, in this one more than any other, stay away from the units and stuff. And if you want to catch all the tactics and stuff, go over to that video for that.
Yeah, I watched the Battle in Beer where you handed it to me. The second one.
This time.
Yeah.
It's 1-1.
Don't watch the second one. Watch the first one. That was much more glorious.
Yeah. So we're here to talk our concepts, what we like about the army, what sorts of things we think about when we talk Infernal Dwarves, and what sorts of things spring to mind. So yeah, should we get cracking?
I think we should.
Straight in.
And it's fair to say that, barring the recent videos that we've done on ID, none of us ID players, really, at all. I don't think any of us own a single model for ID. So
I've technically.
Oh yes,
I've got some Chaos Dwarves with my Hell Cannon.
The old Hell Cannon. Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
metal one as well, isn't it? Or have you got two?
I've got two, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got like eight Chaos Dwarves.
Nice, that's cool.
So does that make me the ID player?
Yes, it does now.
Are your Hell Cannons painted?
One of them is, and the other one is not.
Okay.
That's a future conversation there, isn't it?
Awesome. Let's go.
Yeah. So we're not ID players, but we are going to be playing with them actually quite a bit over the next few weeks.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe. So between them and Dread Elves, we've got a decent amount of playtesting to do. So which is cool. New step for us. But yeah, so
Gobbo's first.
Over to Gobbo for your ID.
That is a self-portrait.
You've shaved though, so
exactly this time
it takes years off you.
It does. Wear my toupee as well. So I wanted to go away from the traditional pointy hat Chaos Dwarfs from Games Workshop and look more at almost an evil dwarf, effectively. Not necessarily demonic. So that's my thought. So they live underground. They're horrible. They don't like people. They're your typical hermity sort of under the ground miserable dwarf. And that is I think they're called a Dwarga in D&D.
Yeah, they are.
Something like that. Dwarga. Something like that.
Duragar.
And
Duraga.
Yeah. So again, I have no idea how this would work as an army, but this is my idea of what Infernal Dwarves should look like. So if we go to the next page a second.
Yeah, you
Yeah. So living underground, living in the deepest, darkest parts of the crust of the earth, and they seem to hoard all these little gribblies.
Okay.
And
are they little though?
No. So that would be a Kadim Titan sort of size.
Oh wow!
Gribbly.
Okay. Yeah.
So they ride them into battle. They use their claws and weapons as armor and stuff like that. And so they're almost a subterranean race entirely. And they only come up for resources.
Okay.
So again, so this is from Skyrim. This is a Falmer. which is a captured snow elf that has been tainted and now has to wear the armor of the Infernal Dwarves, or the I think it was the Duergar or something like that in Skyrim.
Yeah.
So you've got all the different parts of the like the hook and the staff and things are all basically parts of that insect.
Okay.
And they look quite nasty. So that would be like your vassal sort of shaman sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is quite an evil looking elf. There you go.
Oh, nice. Falmer Riley. Yeah. I like that.
So again, the big chorus, they ride them to battle. So that could be something like your Taurox or your Great Bull, of Shamut. Yeah. And they just seem to just capture people and disappear back under Earth again.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of got
like, sort of idea.
And you've got an underground, subterranean, emerging sort of theme as well.
Yeah. So almost like if you've seen the film Tremors. So again,
No.
It's a big gribbly beastie that goes under the ground and pops up, grabs the person, drags them under.
Yeah.
And but captures them, uses them for food or for slavery, etc.
Cool.
So again, evil sort of looking armor, but it's all based on the carapaces and armored like chitin shells from the beasties.
Yeah,
which is quite cool.
It's cool. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you like your insecty themes, don't you? Really? I'm starting to think you are an evil insect in disguise.
Thank you.
Disguised as a goblin.
Compliment.
That is a compliment. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there you go. That's more dwarfy.
There we go. So again,
he looks a happy
for the actual models, I think so. I think they're your traditional, ill-tempered, underground dwelling, dwarfy sort of thing, and it's not necessarily pure evil. They just don't necessarily like anyone.
Yeah, nothing evil about that at all.
Yeah. And I feel some sort of resonance with these sort of people.
Oh.
So,
what about him? Well, I mean, he easily fits Kadim Titan, doesn't he?
Exactly. So again, same principle. Your big underground abyss sort of beastie.
Yeah, like monstrosities that haven't seen daylight, sort of thing.
So that could be like your Infernal Engine or your Bastion or something like that. So again, you can have your guys riding it on a parapet sort of thing, similar to the Ragnarok spider.
Yeah,
which I thought would be quite cool.
Definitely.
And that tends to go back into the more of the Infernal Dwarf sort of idea. So again, the infernal weapons, the forging of the dark spirits and things going into the actual weapons.
Yeah,
but I like the skin color.
It's crazy, isn't it? So
yeah, I like the skin color in this chap, and again, like the lightning runes, and again, like the glowing eyes. I think it's just quite cool.
It is very Kadim, yeah.
Yeah,
and the manifestations as well, of course.
Yeah, again, subterranean troglodyte sort of unhappy dwarf, almost goblinoid, which is.
He's just shouting, "I see diamonds!"
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the choruses again.
I mean, you say like burrowing underground, it just leaves me the scene like Starship Troopers again. I mean, I know we've mentioned Starship Troopers before, probably especially when it comes to your pictures. But you know, the scene when it just burrows up and grabs people and takes their legs off and things like that.
Exactly. That's the idea. So again, dwarves that's a proper dwarf there, isn't he? So again, they're not evil, but just ill-tempered, don't trust other people, and then only use animals and people as slaves and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's cool. You think you'd be able to like almost combine them with the subterranean rules of Undying Dynasties if you were to create a rule set that fit them? Like
exactly.
Because I mean, you guys are very much concept based and things, but I like how to apply them to rules. And I mean, the idea of insects coming up from the ground is very Scorpion-esque, isn't it? Almost.
Yes.
So, yeah. Like it. I mean, the colours on this thing are crazy as well.
Exactly. Again, very centipede-y, very insectoid, obviously. But
and then you found
there's a Falmer.
It's like Gollum, like, isn't it? Really, but with the armor.
Similar, yeah. So not they're blind, so they can't see because they've been underground so long. They can only sense people around them by sound and smell. But they've also then got the armor from all the carapaces and stuff like that, so they're quite well protected.
Yeah,
but I think it's just a fun concept.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, in Skyrim, these guys are terrifying. When they come at you, because they're quick as well.
Oh yeah, they're not. Just because they're blind doesn't mean they're shuffling or anything like that. They know where you are.
Yeah.
I've always wondered how they shoot bows, though, which is quite interesting. But
well, because they're so crooked, or shooting.
Yeah, well, no, they can't see. They're blind.
Yeah. It's a sense.
Yeah, he's in that direction over there.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the idea is that they'll hear you before you see them. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So they're elves that were captured by the evil dwarves and taken underground and fed mushrooms to survive, and they've mutated into these vassally sort of slave race, which is...
Well, it doesn't take much to taint an elf, does it, really? Lucky Sixes.
No.
Yeah, I mean, the whole armor thing is pretty cool as well, because that's...
How you would sculpt it, I have no idea, but the project would look fascinating on the tabletop once it's done.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
And then something's like the traditional dwarf sort of hammer with sharp bits added to them.
Yeah, just to make it a little more jagged,
Yeah, that's painted like that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be really cool actually if you could do like the neon lights in the eyes. That would be
almost
amazing.
the Underdark sort of colours. So again, just like the bluey glowy.
Just have a wire trailing from your table with the LED lights attached to some power source.
I've seen someone do a demon army with it before, and they were all flaming, and then they had LEDs underneath, so they just glowed with fire. Amazing. So I think if you could get a blue LED,
it'd be good for a display picture. I'm not sure how about it translates to the gaming board, but
these are some of the skee ball miniatures, which I think are quite cool. Again, it's going a little bit more down the infernal sort of direction. Yeah. So again, stunty.
What base size are
they? 20.
Oh, 20 really? Mil. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, they're quite chunky there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why. Yeah. They
I like the
ogreish, don't they?
I like the downward pointing horns. I think it looks very interesting.
Yeah, it's like depressed, isn't it? It's like not happy.
Yes, just gloomy, ill-tempered dwarf.
Yeah, or repressed.
I quite like the mutated sword as well.
It's clever.
Yeah. That's cool.
More Falmer again.
Cool. I love that. Yeah. Actually, to be honest, doing on these army chats with you, I want to play Skyrim again.
It's on my Amazon wish list.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, that's your concept, Gobbo. Thank you for those.
Thank you.
Move on to mine next. La Revolution!
Yes!
So, my concept, my idea is everyone knows that Infernal Dwarves take goblin slaves, orc slaves, mutated elf slaves, all that sort of thing. What if, finally, the slaves revolted and overthrew the dwarves? Now, I'm not saying it could be a permanent revolution, because let's face it, the goblins will probably screw themselves over before they actually manage to take over completely. But for those very few moments, the goblins are in charge.
I take offence at that.
Well, just because I've put a temporary... You think they could do it?
Exactly. We can do it.
Well, I mean, this is goblin fighting goblin, so already they've started going against each other. But yeah, can you imagine the chaos of goblins just rampaging? I mean, obviously that is pretty much goblins, but I'm thinking that they could use the technology and the armor again. I mean, Gobbo, you mentioned the armor of the insects, but I mean, I'm thinking, imagine goblins in infernal armor. So basically, they're all squishy, but they've got a 4-up plate armor.
Like ill-fitting armor as well.
Absolutely, yeah. But these guys, like the Goblin Elite. Yeah, they're not elite, but they're in good armor. because they've nicked it from the Infernals, basically.
This would be like the vassal levies in
exactly, yeah, it would be. But
just
instead of having no armor,
fold.
they've got all the armor. So you'd almost use the base stats of the actual model, like vassal or Infernal Dwarf, but flip the armor over, flip the weapons over, and to some extent flip the rules over as well. So I was thinking how the rules could work for it as well. But I mean, this is going down the technology route of like the Infernal Dwarfs having like proper futuristic armor as well.
This Green Goblin, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And then you've got the wizards who are just embracing the dwarven magic. Is it the what are they called now? I've forgotten what the new ones are called. It's not the Vizier.
Conjurers.
No, prophets, isn't it?
All right. Okay.
What are they still called prophets in the current book?
Prophets of Lugar. Asheruk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I mean, they instead of being the dwarfs with the magic abilities, it's the goblins who have captured it from the dwarfs. So like they're using their funny objects and things. And I mean, I just found this picture and just stuck it in the middle, I'll be honest. But they can still fling each other, as part of their chaos. And yeah, they would, at the end of the day, while they're fighting this revolution and revolting against their overlords, they would still be crazy goblins. So even with the ill-fitting armor and everything, they're still not all that sensible. And you can imagine just the hordes of loot that they would steal from their dwarf former slave lords as well. And just how
anything they can carry,
exactly, just how
proper hoarders,
happy, crazy they would be. I mean, this guy's smile, he's delighted. He's got all the stuff, and he would literally just be going mental with it. And then, of course, you got your orc slaves as well. They're part of the revolution, and they would obviously be a part of it as well. It wouldn't just be goblin based because. From my understanding, they outnumber the dwarf overlords as much as the goblins do. They're the ones who are working the forges and stuff like that. And I had the thought of like the centaurs, but with orc bodies and things like that, and all those
act as Tauruks.
Yeah, the Tauruks. Yeah, exactly. So you would mash the two together to form orc Tauruks. Things like that, because they'd be the bruisers of the new revolution, sort of thing. So yeah, and obviously the orcs would then be the ones holding the whips, and you'd have the dwarfs in the slave position, and obviously the gunnery of the Infernal Dwarfs is another thing that they would steal, of course. And I mean, I know that you've got the vassal slingshot as a goblin weapon in the book. But you've also got the dwarf artillery, and it wouldn't take much to convert those models to have goblins firing the weapons and just making them slightly less accurate or look like they're just pressing buttons and causing chaos. I mean, like behind a Gatling gun or whatever, or holding a pistol. And it wouldn't be that difficult to convert a unit of infernal warriors, but with pistols, and actually goblins holding the pistols instead. And just looking
like blunderbuss.
Yeah, exactly. And holding flintlocks and just because you'd still have the weapons, but on goblins instead of dwarfs.
There's an army that Dan Terry shared to me recently, which is based on the Caradon Overlords. The big floaty dwarfs on Games Workshop at the moment, but with goblin heads. So it would work quite well for this idea.
Yeah.
Mexican goblin.
Yeah, and then just the sniper. I don't even know if that's a goblin really, but it kind of is. But,
that's cool.
Yeah, just the idea of them stealing all the good weapons and not being thrown into battle now. They're just experimenting with all their stuff they've nicked. And of course, where does that leave the old dwarf? Well, in chains. He's now the prisoner. This guy, obviously, a little more dwarfish than infernal dwarfish, but still. And, what wouldn't it be without an elf holding a whip? And yeah, just the dwarves are forced into slavery. Forced to serve. They are less numerous, so you can't imagine it once the revolution had taken hold, it would actually be that difficult. And once the goblins did have the armour and the weapons of the dwarves could be in a bit of trouble. Probably forced to work the forges and work the mines and be downright miserable. They'd pretty much be turned into your dwarfs, Gobbo.
which is the way all dwarfs should be.
Absolutely, yeah.
Miserable.
But of course, it wouldn't last forever, and eventually, the dwarfs would fight back. This guy, he's fighting back.
You're like the origin story to Gobbos.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then after the revolution, the goblins are in trouble there. If they haven't all run away by then.
Yeah.
There you go. That was my thoughts on it. Just to flip the roles aside. I think
that's awesome.
The rules in the book could quite easily be converted. Literally, just change all the armor, all the weapons, and all the special rules over, but leave the base stats the same. I think that would be crazy. I would love to play a battle with all of them just flipped. And
cool to see whether or not they sort of go along any of that lines for the auxiliary books, like a slave army.
Hobgoblins are coming as well, I believe. I don't know much about them.
They're not proper goblins, though, are they?
No, exactly. Yeah. And they're more, your Genghis Khan goblins, aren't they, on the steppes and all that. But yeah, anyway, cool. Lucky Sixes, you're up.
Me.
Boom.
Yeah, ooh. So pretty. I think out of the three, I'm probably the most traditional in the sense, really. And as
is
well,
that just with
really,
dwarfs or in general?
I'm very traditional. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, just really, just kind of. I haven't really come across Infernal Dwarves much, and especially in fantasy or whatever. I never really played with or against them. So really, my whole concept is done through Ninth Age and what I've spoken to people and stuff, and really comes from like the Inferno and like and the idea that they've been tainted by they've just mined too far. They've mined too far, and they've been tainted by what they've found in this crazy world. But they've sort of embraced it rather than fleeing or trying to fight against it, and sort of meshed with it rather so just living symbiotically type thing. So they're your regular looking dwarves, so very traditional looking dwarves and that, but they've got all these fire immunities and fire like the beard becomes fire or tints of that and stuff. And I really like the idea as well that I think the next one is that they're sort of dug down and got into this sort of lava, sort of inferno, whatever, and they're using the resources knowingly that it's going to change them and turn them, and like sort of like the evil power sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think like pretty traditional in like how that sort of comes across, I think, and probably a lot of what most people would consider it as that. And this one, onto the next sort of step, is like they're kind of like working with all these like giants and like infernal beasts and like the Qadim Titans and things like that, because that's what they've disturbed and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're, rather than fight against these things, they've embraced them almost as like not like necessarily as gods, but like as their now new way of living, and better to be on their side, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
And then unleash it on the world.
Yeah, very much so. So like obviously staying down in the underground and like creating all the weapons, creating all the armor, getting all these abilities and things, and then just coming up just to wreck face. Literally just they would just want to kill everyone else and show off their power and show how powerful they are through the wonders of the Inferno and stuff.
Oh, beautiful.
Balrog, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that is the epitome.
What's that from?
Disturbing.
It's a small movie. Yeah. I think it's one of those indie movies. You know?
Yeah. Right.
It's got subtitles.
Yeah, Swedish.
Star Trek.
yeah. But yeah, so again, that's just sort of an idea of what's come up, and it kind of gone basically not sort of like serve me or die, and they've gone, all right, we'll serve you. Don't worry, lad. I'm on your side.
That wouldn't be too much of a difficult decision to make, would it?
Yeah. So like, I think you could quite easily do with like the giants and some of the, not necessarily the Infernal engine and things, because they come onto them a bit, and like they're more of like the things that they come off, but things that they come up with their newfound Inferno power. But these things could be like giants and the Kalim Titans and things like that. Just different models and different styles, just with all this fire coming off it, and literally like as their blood sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
So like they don't bleed regular blood; they bleed fire and lava and things.
That's just every model you kill implodes, combusts.
Right.
Their blood is ash.
Yeah. And again, like on the idea that like they're using what they've found to like enhance their weapons and things, like you'd find a lot of stuff like this with like, again, instead of necessarily coal, it'd be like the infused Inferno armor, coal and lava and stuff. But yeah, just basically just lumping all these resources onto all their stuff to bolster them and make them badass, man.
Yeah.
Fiery badass dwarves.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is sort of like maybe the mixture of those sort of two. So these could be the Infernal engines and thing. I think this is 40k stuff, as you can see from Marines. Yeah.
Probably.
But like the whole demonic infused engines and things like that, which I guess is where the original Hell Cannon come from, and that sort of idea that they've built these empty shells and they've put these fire souls basically in them, and they've meshed with them and come up and can fire everything.
Look at that.
I like this one. That would be really cool.
It's just Thomas the Tank Engine, isn't it?
Infernal Demon.
Horrifying.
I know.
Absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
If anybody watched it as a child, you're now scarred.
Yeah.
Watch it again with that.
It's just the smiley face on it that makes it. I mean, if that had a proper beastly face, then it wouldn't look out of order at all.
Yeah.
Because it's smiling. Oh, man.
It's the man being impaled by the which is a little bit...
But yeah, so that's the classic Infernal engine. I thought would be quite cool as a model as well.
Yeah. I don't know which is your last picture, Lucky Sixes, so you have to shout me if we get into the last one.
Yeah, I think there's 3 more. Okay. But yeah, basically all saying the same thing, just like about where they've sort of mined and stuff, and instead of going up and coming down, they've just decided to stay with their demonic lava fire brethren.
Well, yeah, I guess once they're immune to the fire, they wouldn't care otherwise, would they? So
yeah, and it's all so they're building all their stuff, which obviously helps over time create those access to resources and create those immunities and things like that, and could make quite a good display board, I think.
Absolutely.
And like you see a lot. One of the things I've seen a lot is the like lava on like black charcoal bases and things, and I think you could do some quite lovely display boards using this sort of thing.
Yeah,
concept.
If there was a way that you could paint the model with the light coming up from underneath it, would be fantastic.
Yeah. So like the proper highlights and things.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, that would be really cool. That would be really cool. Yeah. I think that's my last one.
Okay.
I've got a feeling that's my last one.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, it's cool. That's I mean, even though it is traditional, your idea, your concept, Lucky Sixes, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just still pretty cool, Yeah. I think of all the, there aren't really other elements that fit Infernals like fire, obviously.
It's the obvious one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I did originally when I was trying to think of my concept. I thought, well, can I flip the element? And I was like, nah. And then I just went on a different direction entirely. But yeah, I'm glad that one of us kept with the fire theme.
And again, 3 different concepts again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If you look at the aesthetic between mine and yours, Lucky Sixes, yours was all fire and bright and everything like that. Mine was all gloomy, damp, and wet, sort of underground. So it's quite clever how it's similar, but yet not. It's completely different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a good one to end on.
Yeah, I thought I'd just flip back to this.
That's going to be the avatar, isn't it?
That'll be on the front of the book.
But yeah, so I think that just about wraps it up.
Yeah, pretty much. Good stuff.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. A bit of a shorter one today, but like we said, if you are watching this and go, I just want some more Infernal Dwarves, we've got plenty videos already on our channel and coming up for you as well. So stay tuned or spend your time looking back at the archives.
And don't forget to give us your comments, things that you would like in a concept Infernal Dwarf army.
Yeah, and whether or not you like these concepts, or whether these are good concepts or not, whether you think there are other things we've completely obviously missed out, like you idiot, what about these incarnates or whatever, I don't know. So put it on the thing. The artillery, I guess we've only sketched over briefly, so that could be a concept theme as an army as well. But yeah, otherwise, like, share, subscribe, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the forum, mail.
What's coming up next?
Pigeon. So
Equitane. Kingdom of
Equitane is the next army chat.
That's assuming Gobbo's got his alphabet right, because he sent me the pictures for those already. And assuming he's got the right alphabetical one next.
I think so,
yeah.
It's the French alphabet.
Okay.
We've also got, as always, we'll have our battle reports come in. We've got Gobbo's hobby videos as well. So keep your likes, shares, subscribes on all those as well. Keep the comments flowing. I believe today, as of the day of the recording, we've hit 700. Which is incredible, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We really appreciate all the subscribes and everything, and you telling people about us, and more and more people, especially in the last 6 months or so, have started coming to us for asking for like play testing or different lists and things like that, and we really appreciate it, and really keeps us going, especially in these times. Keeps our motivation up, and we're glad you're enjoying the content, and hopefully we can keep it coming and provide you some more. So on that lovely note, isn't that?
I got nothing further to add.
We'll love you and leave you, everybody. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.